people, how you all doing? So today I'm here to tell you guys a story about how I got involved with a dealer. Okay, a dealer. Okay, so first things first, I'm not gonna actually say actual people's names in this story. We're just gonna get some names for them. Okay, so once upon a time, this was like a few years ago. I was actually very young, um and a bit naive. So, well, I had this friend. He was a guy. Okay, his name was, let's say his name is David. Okay, now we were not boyfriend girlfriends. He was just my friend. Now David would actually talk to me and say, oh, I got this girlfriend, like just another friend that he has. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna have to get you guys to actually link up, so you guys, because I like your vibe and everything, I think you and my friends will actually get on. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So he's like, yeah, so I would invite her when she comes to visit. I'll invite her to come over, so you guys would get to know each other. So I was like, cool, no worries. So now one day I'm at home chilling. David calls me. He's like, oh, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm at home. He's like, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm just like in bed. I'm just trying to relax, get some rest or whatever. He's like, oh, do you remember my friend so person? Now we're gonna call her Tracy. Okay, do you remember Tracy that I told you about, that I said you guys will get on, blah blah blah? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, she's actually here. Do you want to meet up or something? Like, do you want us to come down? We'll drive by your place and then we can go out, get something to eat or whatever. So I'm like, cool. So they come over, we go out to like this restaurant, go get something to eat. So while we're talking, she's like, oh, you're a cool girl, blah blah blah. Like, oh, David was, like, he was honest. Like, when he told me about you, I didn't know how to feel. But now that I've actually met you, I think you're cool. Like, why not? We can all be friends. So I'm like, okay, friends we are, right? So now me and Tracy exchanged numbers. So she called me from time to time, check up on me, see how I'm doing, blah blah blah. Like, how friends do sometimes. So I'm like, okay. I'm like that kind of person. Yeah, I'm a very reserved person, laid back. Like, I don't easily make friends. Like, it's actually really hard for me to make friends. So I was like, okay, maybe she doesn't mean any harm. It's normal to just be friends with somebody. So I'm like, cool. And when I met her, like, she was driving a really expensive car. So I was like, oh, in my head, I'm like, what does this girl do? But anybody, I do not charge people at all. So I'm just like, okay, maybe she works from home. Maybe because every time she calls me, she's always at home. So I'm wondering, like, what does this girl do for work, But I was just like, okay, none of my business, I don't care. So one day, Tracy calls me, because by this time we've hanged out a lot, right? So she calls me one day and then she's like, oh, I'm at this house party, do you want to come by? So I'm like, it's a bit late, don't you think? Because I didn't even know about it like until last minute. She's like, no, don't worry, my friends will send a driver to come get you, blah blah blah. So I'm like, send the driver to come get me? She's like, yeah, they send driver to come and get you, don't worry, like, just get dressed, get ready, just come, let's have fun. So I'm like, okay, I've known her. By this time, I've known her for like 3-4 months. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll go over to this house party. We'll have fun. It's nothing wrong, right? So I go to this place. This driver comes to pick me up. He's like, oh, are you Miss? This is a dad. I've been sent to come get you. Calls me on the phone. So I go outside, meet him, go in the car. We go to this house party, right? I get them. When I'm going inside, someone greets me at the door, and like, this house is like a really posh, big mansion, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, it looks like a really big, like it was a really big, posh house. Okay, so I'm like, cool. I go into this house, and then I see 2 Asian guys, and then they're like, hey, how are you? Blah blah blah. So I'm like, cool. He's like, oh, your friend's been telling us about you, blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, no worries. I wanna see what's going on here. So I'm like, okay, I'm just playing cool. So he's like, oh, let's go to the kitchen. What do you want? Any drinks? We've got everything here. What do you want? And then I was like, okay. So there was girls in the back swimming, kind of like almost naked or whatever. Some even had their bikini tops off or whatever. So I'm just like, okay. I didn't know it was the sort of party. So I'm like, okay, I just drink some champagne. So they give me a glass and I drinking my champagne. Then this guy just comes over to me and he's like, oh, he pulls out something from the top, puts it down like in a paper, or like in a little paper wrapped in a bag, right? He puts it in, he's like, do you want to do a line? I'm like, what? He's like, do you want to do a line? I'm like, I don't think so. He's like, why not? And I said, nah, I'm not. He's like, oh, so you're not into this kind of things, yeah? And I said, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. Like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay then. I'll just do my line. I'm like, okay. So I'm trying to move away from him. And he's like, no, don't worry. Like, I don't bite. Obviously, I like you. Blah, blah, blah. Your friends are saying nice things about you. He mentioned a country that he was from in Asia. And then he's like, oh, he's got like lots of casinos and hotels and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, interesting stuff. Good to know. So he's like, yeah, so what do I do for work? And then we were just talking. So he was like, oh, tomorrow he's going to go to the club. Like, he's going to go to the club and then he's going to go to the casino to go and gamble. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. So this guy now go upstairs. And then he comes back, he comes down to the kitchen, he comes back with a big bag, like a big bag of money. And he's like, you see this money, yeah? He's gonna gamble everything away. And I'm like, really? Okay. So I'm like, so what do you do for what? He's like, yeah, I got hotels, blah, blah, blah. I got casinos, but I'm gonna gamble this money. This money is nothing to me, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, cool, that sounds interesting. He's like, girls are walking by naked, he's touching their boobs and all of that. So I'm like, yo, like, this is just too raw for me. Like, okay. And then he's telling me how he likes me, blah, blah, blah. Then he's like, he's got 2 kids, he's getting divorced, blah, blah. At this point, yeah, I'm just having a headache. I'm like, why did I even come here in the first place? So now, okay. So what actually put me in a very, like, not bad mood, but like I was feeling some type of way. In the sense that I've been friends with this girl, this Tracy girl, for a while, right? Now, she does not tell me that, I didn't know that she don't like black girls or whatever. So now we get to this party, and then once I walked in, she's like, oh, this is my friend, so. And then she goes, after the introduction, she goes, I don't like black girls, but I like her. She's cool. And I'm like, is that supposed to be a compliment or an insult? You don't like black girls, but you like me. So I asked her, why don't you like black girls? She said, you know how black girls can be bitchy, blah, blah, blah. I said, every girl can be bitchy. She goes, yes, but I mean sometimes they are bits in your face. And I'm like, this is the kind of thing that pisses me. So in my head, I already made girl is not going to be my friend anymore. We are done. Okay. So afterwards, I'm just like, at this point I start feeling uncomfortable. So I'm saying to this guy, yeah, I want to go home. Like, I said to my friend, I want to go home, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, don't leave, like, stay here. You can stay here as long as you want. This is my house, blah, blah, blah. I got more houses. I said, yeah, I know. But because he was high, like, these guys were getting so high because we were doing drugs, right? And I didn't even know that this Tracy girl does drugs as well. So they're like, all of these girls in this place, they were doing drugs, right? So I was like, all of these girls in this place, they were doing that thing, white stuff. Yes, so they were all doing this white stuff. So I'm like, I'm feeling uncomfortable. So I'm like, I need to go because I'm not comfortable to stay here. I just want to go. So this guy reaches out in his bag. He's like, oh, can we just exchange numbers? I'll give you a call, blah blah blah. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe he just wants to get to know me. Maybe, I don't know, because he was cute. But I was wondering, like, what's with all of these girls and all these naked things or whatever that's going on? I just want to go home. So he's like, oh, okay, I do like you. I do want to get to know you. So let's exchange numbers. And I'm like, cool. So we exchange numbers here. This guy goes into his bag, right? And he gives me money. Like, he just gives me some money. He didn't even count it, nothing, just give me money. So I go home and I'm going, he's like, oh, his driver's gonna take me home, they'll drive me home, blah blah. So I'm like, okay. So I go home and I count this money. It's like 2k plus, 2,000 something pound plus. So I'm like, who gives money to people just like that? Like, this doesn't even make sense. Next 2 days, my guy starts calling me. He's like, what are you doing? Can we meet up? Blah, blah, blah. So I begin to feel uncomfortable because he told me a lot of stuff about how he actually has rivals and how he has people that are in the business with him. And I'm like, so you have like a casino, you have hotels, why don't you stop? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I can't stop. You know, I can't stop. Like, I'm too deep into it to stop. So I'm like, okay. You're too deep into it to stop, whatever that means. Apparently, this guy starts talking to me. He's like, oh, he can actually make my life easier. He can hook me up with people in business, so I don't have to work for the rest of my life. And I'm like, so what do I have to do? What? This guy wants me to be in that same business with them. And I'm like, no, honey, no. So this was how I cut contact with them. So this Tracy girl, she'd be calling me, she'd be like, yeah, what do you think I do for work? Blah, blah, blah. My life is so easy. And I said, well, that's you. We all have different paths that we want to go in life. So maybe this is your calling. This is where you want to go. This is not where I want to go. Because where these people actually do their business, like, it's like dangerous places, countries where if you get caught, you're going to go down, sent down for life. Okay? Life. My life is too precious. So that was how I got rid of them. To be calling me, talking about, you know, we need to meet up and all of that. I'm like, no, you can get another girl. Like, you can get someone else. But me? No way. So, yeah. This is the end of my story. There will be lots of stories to come. Believe me, I've got lots of stories about interesting things that's happened in my entire life, and I feel like this is a platform where I want to just share most of these stories and these ridiculous stories I'll share with you guys. So yeah, if you enjoyed the story, please make sure you subscribe because there will be more coming your way soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.